So today is June 4th. So here's your native history for June 4th. This time it's 1920, the Crow Act. And in order to get to this point, let's review a little bit of Crow history from the Crow tribe in Montana. So in 1830, there were approximately 10,000 Crow members. And because smallpox hit the Crow tribe, and if you don't know, Europeans brought over tons of diseases, and one of them was smallpox. So smallpox hit the Crow tribe, and over 8,000 members died due to smallpox. And by 1850, there were only 2,000 Crow members. 1851, they signed the first Fort Laramie Treaty, and this was along with some other tribes. Let me just explain to you which tribes those were. They were the Crow, so Crow, Sioux, Cheyenne, Arapaho, Shoshone, Anishinaabe, Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara. I hope I'm saying all of those correctly. That was the first Fort Laramie Treaty, and in that first Fort Laramie Treaty, the Crow tribe was allotted 38 million acres of land. And in 1868, which is just 17 years later, the second Fort Laramie Treaty was signed, and their lands were reduced from 38 million to 8 million. So the U.S. government took 30 million acres of land from the Crow tribe from 1851 to 1868. Okay, and then in 1891, the U.S. government came and said, hey, that 30 million acres we took from you wasn't enough. We like the western part of your land. So the U.S. government took 2 million acres on the western side of their land. So now the Crow have 6 million acres of land. In 1904, the Congressional Act diminished the Crow lands once again, and the U.S. government came once again and said, hey, we like the northern side of your lands, and we would like 4 million acres. So they took 4 million acres. So they were at 6 million. They took approximately 4 million and left them with 2.3 million acres. So again, they started it with 38 million records in 1851. And by 1904, they only had 2.3 million acres. So that is actually the land, I believe, the amount of acreage that they have today. They have 2.3 million acres, but they started at 38 million. So in 1920, brings us to our history lesson today. In June 4th, 1920, the Crow Act was passed by the Crow tribe, which allotted the 2.3 million acres to each of its enrolled members. And that was in 1920, June 4th, the Crow Act allotted the remaining 2.3 million acres to be distributed to each of their enrolled members. And there were some laws along with that. But I do want to go over just a little bit of some commentary, which is, yes, each of these times that their lands were taken, the U.S. government made a ton of promises saying, hey, we'll give you money and we'll do all these things. And of course they didn't. And even when they said, hey, we'll pay you this lump sum or whatever, they never received that money. Instead, they said, we're going to hold on to it and we'll distribute it to you how we see fit and when we see fit, over and over again. Unfortunately, this is very true to a lot of our native history, but this is specific Crow history. So yeah, I hope you learned something today. And so one of the comments I get all the time in my comment section is, you lost the war. So this is how lands were taken. They were taken through treaties and through lies and deception. It wasn't one war and the Crow lost and they, gave up 36 million acres of land. No, it was bit by bit. It was calculated and deceitful from the U.S. government. 1920 Crow Act.